Hey guys, welcome. I just wanted to introduce Jason Waller from Intelicare this week. So welcome, Jason. I was,
Hey,
hey, I was just hoping that you could maybe just give us quickly a little bit of intro about your company, Intelicare.
sure. So Intelicare turns any home into a smart home. We install a range of sensors that upload to our Internet of Things platform, which is our secret sauce piece. We then run that data through an AI engine to learn what's normal domestic behaviour in that home when people are up and about, moving around the home, preparing meals, washing, going in and out, that kind of.
Tell us a little bit about your first job.
Well, my first job, I guess, was actually back in the day was delivering pamphlets door to door, into the letterbox. One of those annoying people that dropped off the swathe of brochures into your junk mail. We
Yep.
used to have hard junk mail, not soft junk mail. But I guess my first job, I was a pilot in the Air Force, 22 years. So I got out of high school and went straight to the Air Force.
Wow. My next question for you is, how did the idea for Intelicare come about?
Well, I took over from the founders in August 2019, so I'm relatively new with the company. But it came about from our founders, Greg Leach and Mike Tappenden, two great guys who are still with the company. Greg's the chairman, Mike's the CTO. They applied successfully for what was then a Royalty for Regions grant in Western Australia through the WA Country Health Service.
Brilliant.
And they were awarded $500,000 to develop the tech. But it came about really through Mike and his mum, who was living independently in her own home. And for a while, these guys have been in the IT environment for decades, very experienced building companies, building teams, and exiting. And so they knew of this opportunity with smart home technology. But up until recently, with the advent of cloud computing costs coming down and improvement in IoT platforms, it hadn't been accessible or accessible economically. But they saw that opportunity a couple of years ago, and when they awarded the grant, left it. So the sort of first test cases were Mike's mum's house.
What is the big goal for your company?
Oh, world domination.
Like every company. Fantastic. Anything more measurable than that, or just world domination? Just kick out Amazon.
Well, I describe it on scratch my staff that the goal of any public company is to create shareholder value. That's the goal at the end of the day, and you've got to remain in sight of that goal. But to achieve that, the short-term goal is to increase sales. So we're not an R&D company. We're out of that R&D space. We're post-revenue. So it's growing at scale, those sales at scale. So in the short term, it's capturing the B2B market, particularly home care service providers. People think of aged care more as being residential aged care, the nursing homes, but our focus is on the home care services and disability service providers.
Brilliant. I've put here, you've just listed on the ASX. What is that process like?
It's long, drawn out, difficult, challenging. It's all of those things. But look, what it does is actually shines a strong, heavy, bright light on your business, because you've got to prove that actually you're worthy of being listed and you're going to attract shareholder investment. So you can't just afford to drink your own Gatorade. You've got to stress test those ideas and put them under real scrutiny. So although the process is all those things I mentioned, it's like getting fit. It's like pre-match fitness. We've had the great pleasure of having Matt DeBoer from GWS as part of our team. He was one of the founding directors. So he talks about this as being the pre-season, and the ASX is the pre-season part. And now we're into the main part of the season. So you need to go through that heavy lifting in the pre-season to get strong for the match day.
I've put here, what is a valuable lesson that you have learned in your career, I guess, to share to other people?
It's all about people. That's it. So the common question I'm asked when people find out about my previous career is, that must have been a big change, or it must have been easier in the military to just order people to do things. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's 80% common. There's a small difference in terms of understanding the sales and BD and commercialisation, but most of it is about the people. So if you go back to the shareholder value thing, if you look after your people, they'll look after you. That's how you achieve the shareholder growth. And leadership is not just about telling someone to do something. If you've got to tell someone or order them to do something, there is an impediment to them doing it. They should be doing it of their own volition. So your role is to work out what that is and unblock it. And so that's the biggest lesson that I think I've coached many people and mentored others on the same thematic.
And that must be really important, though, especially in a growing company, right? Is having people that will take on that sort of responsibility and ownership of a project, and also have the freedom to be creative. So it's not just down to one person or another.
Exactly. You've got to devolve responsibility to the lowest level possible. It was actually a lesson really practiced by the German army post-Prussian wars. That's where it came out from. Auftrag tactic is their word for it.
Okay.
So you can't rely on the leaders, the ones with badges and paraphernalia on their shoulders to be around in the battle. You've got to have, everyone's got to pick up and carry forward the strategy. So a big part of what I do is communication of the strategy to my team so that they can make their own decisions. Because I'm not any brilliant, insightful decision maker. I just have more information available to me. So the more I can impart that down to the staff, they'll make very clever, smart decisions, and they'll spot lots of things that I can't see and move things in the right direction with that information.
Okay. I've put here, what challenges does your company face?
Scaling. It's all about scalability. Like, we know that our product is a great fit. It's one of the reasons the IPO did so well, is people get it, they can understand it, everyone has a personal experience, they can relate to it. But you've got to do everything we're doing right now at scale. So a lot of the things we're doing are what I describe as mandrolic. It's a hands-on approach. It's not yet automated. So with direct sales and indirect sales, inbound and outbound, you've got to try and make that as automatic as possible. And being able to scale our product, being able to get the bugs out of it, so that require a whole lot of back-end support, having the customer service in place. That customer service and experience is going to be critical, given the demographic we're working with and the type of industry we're in. So getting that right is, I think, the thing that I ponder the most.
Okay, I've put here, how important has family support been in your career?
Unbelievably important. Probably one of the most critical things. My wife, Cara, has been immensely supportive. She has been around for nearly my whole career. We got together when I was on pilot schools. She's had to suffer me being deployed away. I was a commanding officer in Iraq and other places around the world, globally, in conflict and in the Cold War environment. So I've been away a lot. It's one of the reasons I got out, was to settle down in one location. And she's never second-guessed me, but she's a great sounding board. Similarly for the kids. My youngest child just became an adult yesterday, his 18th birthday.
Wow.
But they've had to go through a hell of a lot, and they have to deal with me being grumpy and stressed out when I get home. So they're a great team. I couldn't do it without them. They're much more patient with me than I think I am with them, fortunately.
I just think that that's kind of a question that I had on my mind, because it's something we rarely talk about. We look at, we look at skill sets, we look at people's progression throughout their career, but I think that, having someone to go back to at the end of the day, or having talking about different subjects, I think that's really important, to have downtime and to have support. So.
Yeah, I have a lot of tricks that I employ to make sure I de-stress. So when I walk in the front door, I'm not thinking about work.
Brilliant. And my last question, I put here, what could the government or the public do to support this Australian startup?
Buy our product.
Buy the product and buy shares, or just
buy the product and the share price will take care of itself.
And share, I guess, guys. Keep sharing and support. Look, that's it. Thank you very much, Jason. That was all. Any further comments from you? Anything you wanted to add?
Look, I just think that this is going to be the way that we age. I think that there is a fundamental structural problem that we have with a growing aging population, but not a sufficient taxpayer base to support it. It's a macro trend that's not going away. It's like when our aging population now first entered their retirement phase. We all have to get compulsory service. We can't afford that number of retirees. We can't afford this number of aging people either. So we've got to have this kind of technology to support it.
Well, look, I wish you luck. I don't think you guys are going to need it, but all the best, and have a super duper weekend.
Thanks, Ben.
All right,
Cheers.
thank you. See ya.